Welcome back to the next episode of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Generation X tournament here on the Homeboys channel, and we have Syrus Truesdale going up against Sartorius. Syrus has a very interesting deck. He has a bunch of living machines, and he was known as a terrible duelist. They have very, very terrible effects and incredibly low stats. I will quickly go over your three best monsters, okay? Number one, your best monster is going to be Steamroid with 1800. Easily the highest attack monster that you own, and he gets an extra 500 whenever he's attacking your monster. But when he gets attacked, he loses 500 because he gets scared, so he goes down to 1300 during your opponent's turn, essentially. Your other best monster is Drillroid, because it has 1600 and it can automatically kill monsters in defense mode when it attacks them. And your third best monster is arguably Submarine Roid, because it can attack directly for 800 and then switch himself into defense mode because he likes to hide in the water, where he has 1800 defense points. The only other monster I really want to talk about here is Express Roid. Whenever he gets summoned, you get back 2 machines from your graveyard and add them to your hand. He can do a little bit of fusion summoning. He has a polymerization, and specifically for his Viacroid fusions, fusions with Viacroid in their name, I should say, he has Viacroid Connection Zone. Fusion summoning them with this spell card is really good, because then they can't be destroyed by card effects, and their effects can't ever be negated. As for trap cards, he has some pretty useful traps here. You know, he has a Magic Cylinder, which is great. He has Call of the Haunted, classic staple. Cyber Repair, which your opponent draws a card, but your machines can't die in battle that turn. And he has one of the most broken trap cards to ever come out of the anime Yu-Gi-Oh! Life Force. So whenever you're about to take damage, battle damage I should say, you cancel all of that battle damage, and instead you just pay 400 life points. The good news is, though, you have Mixer Roid here in the side deck. So with Mixer Roid in your graveyard, you can banish him and any number of machines that you want. Let's say I banish a total of 8 machines, counting himself. He conducts a fusion summon basically, and I can summon a level 8 or lower fusion monster. But I believe it gets destroyed during the end of the turn, so you gotta be really, really careful with that. There's Megaroid City, which can switch the points of your different Roid monsters. Like, it can switch the attack and defense points by throwing away a Roid from your deck or something like that, or destroying any card in your field. I don't remember. This deck is kind of... Anyways, you also have Emergy Roid Call, a counter trap, so really, really good. And you can negate any spell, trap, or monster effect and destroy it. But you have to have one of your fusion monsters on the field to use it. So yeah, that's what this deck does. Moving on. Now, Sartorius was a big bad villain from Season 2 of the show. He was a fortune teller who used the magic powers that were possessing him in order to cheat so that he can control the effects of his monsters. And by that I mean, the Arcana Force, when they get summoned, they get one of 2 effects, right? You flip a coin. If you get heads, typically you get a good effect, and tails usually gives you a bad effect. But he would cheat and use the magic to say, oh, it's automatically going to be heads every single time, of course, because Destiny loves me. And you can actually do that somewhat with your field spell. So during every one of your turns, you have to flip the coin. If it's heads, you can control what ability your Arcana Forces are going to get. If it's tails, Light Barrier negates its own effects. And whenever Arcana Force destroys a monster, you gain life points equal to whoever you killed. The only thing that you really need to know with these two is that both of their effects are really good, and they have 4,000. That's about it. One really interesting tidbit that I will tell you guys, since some of you non-Yu-Gi-Oh players watch this, is the voice actor in the Japanese dub for this character plays not only the sword cards, but he also plays the worlds, because it's the same voice actor who does the voice of Dio from the JoJo series. So you do have and he even has an effect where he skips your opponent's turn, so he gets to freeze time, and it's really cool. This deck is a JoJo reference. Let the duel begin. Round 1 between Syrus and Sartorius, with Sartorius going first. He's going to bring out the Arcana Force 6, the Lovers, and excuse me if I'm a little bit slow on this. I actually have a hard time with Roman numerals. I did not see... Okay, they flipped tails, so now he's not allowed to tribute summon any monsters. But he has a 1600 Beast on the field. Syrus still can't do anything to that, so he's going to set Tankroid. Here comes Empress with a Tails. So now, whenever your opponent normal summons or sets, Sartorius has to lose a card in his hand. This is already really sucking. He really needed that to get off. Empress only has 13. He swung into the 19 defense for some damage. But when Tankroid goes to the graveyard, Syrus will get to draw a card. So it is a pretty good monster. And there he goes. He summoned, so he decided, I'm not going to be able to bring out the world because I'm not allowed to tribute summon, so I might as well get rid of it. There goes the epic opportunity for a JoJo reference. But Syrus summoned Launcheroid, and it can give a monster 500 attack points and let it attack directly by equipping itself to that monster. So Tankroid not only has 2,000, but Sartorius will start taking 2,000 to the face if he doesn't come up with something to do. He does get to play the Reverse Reborn, which will let him circumvent tribute summoning and bring back the world from the graveyard, but it has to come back with its tail effect. So we finally get to see the world, and Tails is during your opponent's draw phase. They get any card in their graveyard and put it on top before they draw. So that's that. Oh, wait, I'm so confused. Okay, so he got to flip anyways. So this doesn't even... Okay, that's broken. He got his head's effect. So during your end phase, you can kill 2 monsters on your field and skip your opponent's turn. Holy shit. And he has 3,100. Here comes Sowing of the Fool. So this is really interesting. You're going to choose an Arcana monster on your field and count its attack points in multiples of 300. So in this case, I believe he's going to target the world, right? Yeah. So since it has 3,000, you know, you have to remember the number 10. So then from there, toss a coin and apply the appropriate effect. If you get heads, so whoever it lands on, heads for your opponent, tails for you, you have to throw away the top 10 cards of your deck every time you use this card effect. And it looks like he got another tails. So Sartorius lost 10 cards out of his 40 card deck. Oh my god, did he lose anything big? He lost one of his big boss monsters. That sucks. And that's the boss monster that all of these shitty trap cards are for, so now they're all officially dead. He has like 3 more in there still. That sucks. He did get ahead with Arcana Force 1, the Magician, though, so whenever someone uses a spell card, he doubles his attack until the end of that turn. Bye-bye Tankroid, hello new card, and hello a bunch of damage straight to Syrus's face, leaving him with only 2,900. So after all that horrible luck, you know, he managed to do something. Oh, okay, so the coin result doesn't matter. It looks like Reverse Reborn still treats it as tails. So Syrus was able to put Launcheroid on top and just draw that instead, which that's kind of broken in a way too still. That's really unfair for your opponent because they're not getting a chance to draw new cards. Since this is early in the duel, he has to keep drawing the same monsters until he has no graveyard. It really sucks for him in that regard. He did set a monster, but Sartorius has no more cards to throw away. Sets a monster in 3 face down cards before passing it back over, and Sartorius manages to... Okay, no. So he uses Arcana Call, which I believe it banishes an Arcana from your graveyard, and it lets you copy that effect for whatever result you have. Since it's being counted as tails, and he chose the Light Ruler, he gets the effect that during either player's turn when a spell, trap, or monster effect is activated, reduce your attack points by 1,000 permanently and negate that effect and destroy that card. So he's giving himself protection from whatever the heck Syrus has in his back row, up to 3 times, mind you. And here comes the Chariot with another Tails. So when it dies in battle, your opponent gets to steal this 1,700 beast. World is going to attack first. There goes Jetroid. It's nice and dead. Life Force is going to activate. And no, it doesn't target anything, right? That's what it has to do. That targets this card. Okay, so now he gets to just pay 400 life points instead of taking all this combined damage. So that's 4. That's 8. That's 12, and that is 1600. Syrus is still in this duel because of that one trap card. He's gonna risk sowing the Fool, and he got a heads. So Syrus loses. Oh, no. Wait. Heads is bad because it's the Fool. Okay, so his only 2 heads. He got 3 heads this duel. 1 didn't matter, and 2 cost him 20 cards out of his deck. And there goes his other boss monster. This is, oh man. Sartorius is not looking too good. He's got 20 cards left. There goes the world. So, oh, okay, so he gets to draw and gets the card. All right. So he get back his Jetroid and his Tankroid, it looks like. I'm not sure why that resolved twice, but, you know, there goes Pot of Greed. And he's going to Polymerization to fuse all of his monsters, because 5 Roids together creates Barbaroid, the ultimate battle machine with 4,000. Now, I know what you're thinking, 4,000 is a lot. There is a downside that I remember to this card, and it's that it can't attack directly. But when it fights a monster, that monster's effects are negated, and he can attack 2 times during every turn. And when he kills a monster, your opponent loses 1,000 life points. And limiter removal means that this monster dies at the end of the turn, but it gets double the points. So it has 8,000, it has 2 attacks, and it has 2,000 burn damage. Syrus wins this duel. Round 2 with that crazy turnaround victory, and it looks like he bricked. He only has Tankroid to rely on. Sartorius plays Cup of Ace. If you get heads, you draw 2. If it's tails, your opponent draws 2, and he got tails. So Syrus gets to draw 2. Arcana Force 4, the Emperor. Please be a heads. No, it's a tails. So all of his monsters lose 500 attack points for as long as it's face up. Tankroid hits the field. Pot of Greed, 3 face downs. Syrus manages to play another face down, so he has 4 back row to protect him. Easily runs over the Emperor. Back to Sartorius. He does get one of his trap cards, so he's gonna go ahead and play the gamble of Suit of Sword X because he has no monsters to lose. Really quick though, Syrus is gonna play 2 Cyber Summon Blasters. So whenever he special summons a machine monster, your opponent loses 300, or in this case 600 because he has 2. He did manage to get the heads though, so there goes Tankroid, but Syrus still gets to draw, and you wasted your best spell card on a 1500 attack monster. How sad are you? Here comes the Empress with 1300. Please be a heads for my boy's sake, and it was a heads. So whenever your opponent normal summons or sets, you can special summon any Arcana Force monster from your hand. Unfortunately, he has none left, and it would be really good if he got a tribute, but you know, it's a little too late. Syrus, though, to Sartorius' luck, manages to not get anything. And Sartorius did manage to get a level 6 monster. So since he has a level 4 in the graveyard already, he can use Material Lord. He threw away the level 6, and now he has the Spiritual Lord. So if he gets a level 7, then it's over for Syrus more or less, and he gets to bring out his big bad boss monster. Here comes Reverse Reborn to bring back that level 6, and it has its Tails effect, we know for sure this time. But this is the Hangman, and if you guys don't know already by this point, these are based on tarot cards, which are the type of cards that psychics use to read the future and whatnot, or read somebody's fortune coming up soon. And the Hangman is one of those cards that you actually want a tails for. You want it facing away from you. So the upside down Hangman is the effect that lets you destroy one of your opponent's monsters and do damage equal to their effect, or attack, I mean. So, you know, it wasn't face up, so he couldn't do it. He swung with the Empress. He ran into the Einroid, whatever the hell that means, 1800, but Hangman gets to attack it. But first, since it's face up now, we know that it's a Roid, and when a Roid gets attacked, Supercharged lets you draw 2 cards before the battle continues, and Einroid apparently lets him throw away a Strike Roid from his deck, or 2, it lets him throw away 2, so he threw away Decoy Roid as well. Really curious what he's going to go ahead and do. I mean, those are 2 monsters you don't really want to use. Here comes Graceful Charity, so thinning through the deck is Cyrus's thing here. He just draw 3 cards. I see that Life Force there, so we're going to see some OP shenanigans. See, he threw away his UFO Roid and his Shuttle Roid, so a level 4 that sometimes does 1,000 damage, and a Tribute monster that is useless unless you have a warrior with it. So Polymerization to fuse the Ambulance Roid with the Rescue Roid. I feel so weird talking about these children's toys this way, but Ambulance Roid and Rescue Roid for Ambulance Rescue Roid. How creative of a name is that? It is a machine though, and he did special summon, so that's 600 to Sartorius' face. When Ambulance Rescue Roid is on the field, once per turn, if your monster gets destroyed by battle and it goes to the graveyard, Ambulance Rescue Roid brings it back out in defense mode, but he's going to actually use Diffusion on it to get rid of it, to bring back its 2 individual pieces, which is actually pretty clever to get 2 bodies on the field, even though he's technically sacrificing a stronger monster to do it. So here comes Rescue Roid and Ambulance Roid in defense mode. He's summoned again. They were summoned at the same time, so it's just 600 points of damage Sartorius is taking. But now he's using Call of the Haunted to bring out the Tank Roid, so that's another 600 points of damage, and he has a 1500 body that can let him draw. And finally, a combo that was only seen in the anime that has been very, very difficult to pull off. He has the Decoy Roid on the field. And so, essentially, you're in a situation where you're not allowed to attack Syrus, because when you attack, Decoy Roid takes the attack, and it'll get destroyed, obviously, go to the graveyard. Then Ambulance Roid, or excuse me, Rescue Roid, since it died, Rescue Roid adds it back to your hand. And when a monster goes from the graveyard to the hand, Ambulance Roid summons it to the field. And then that causes you to take 600 damage, and now you can't attack again because Decoy Roid is on the field and he'll take that attack. So it's not an infinite loop, but it's a perpetual loop, a loop that can be broken by you not attacking. He swung the Tank Roid into, it looks like, the Hangman, and took this 700 so that he could activate this loop. Oh, no, it didn't act. That's bizarre. I don't know why it didn't go off. I don't know if he chose not to, but anyways, he got to draw a card and put another card face down. He's going to tribute his monsters for Arcana Force, what is this, 15, the Fiend. Here's my problem with that. Okay. Spiritual Lord is dead because his level 6 was on the field now. So using the Reverse Reborn actually screwed him over. He could have had a 4,000 attack boss monster if he just hadn't played that spell card. So now he put it back in the graveyard, but now he doesn't have a level 7 to sacrifice. But here comes the Fiend. It has a crazy effect. Let's see. Life Force is going to activate. Okay, he got heads. So with the heads effect, with the Fiend facing right side up, when it attacks, you can target a monster on the field and destroy it, and whoever controlled it will lose 500 points of damage. But if for whatever reason the Fiend doesn't destroy someone with that effect, he destroys himself. So he's going to do that, destroy the Rescue Roid in order to break the pattern and be able to remove the Decoy Roid from the field as well. And Syrus took that 500, but here comes Express Roid to add 2 monsters back to the hand. The Ambulance Roid gets to summon out the Rescue Roid and summon out the Shuttle Roid. So that is another 600 Sartorius is going to have to deal with. But now he's left with 2 monsters in attack mode with very low attack points. Of course, though, he has the Life Force and another heads effect. So when the Lovers is face up, it will count as 2 tributes for an Arcana Force monster. So that makes 3 tributes. If he draws one of his level 10, he can summon it. The Fiend's gonna go ahead and destroy Shuttle Roid, because Shuttle Roid can banish itself if it gets attacked to do 1,000 damage. But really quick though, Syrus is gonna use his Quick Play support mission. So since a Roid is being attacked, he can add any Roid he wants from his deck to his hand. His Life Force will keep him nice and safe after this, meaning he only takes a grand total of 900 damage. Rescue Roid brings back the Express Roid. Ambulance Roid is destroyed, but Rescue Roid brings it back to the hand. His hand is really stocked up here, and he goes into the Launcher Roid, and I believe he's going to equip it onto Rescue Roid. So that's 500 points and a direct attack ability, and his final face down was another limited removal. So Syrus gets to attack for 4,200 damage. Syrus wins the duel.